Hello, I'm Michael Woodside. I'm an animator at the Walt Disney Animation Studios, and I started in 2012 on Wreck-It Ralph. Most recently, I was the animation supervisor for Sven on Frozen 2. So today, we're going to learn how to draw Sven together. Let's get started. Okay, so now we have our blank sheet of paper. Let's go ahead and start drawing Sven. I'm going to draw really lightly with a red pencil for my underdrawing. The first shape I want to work with is a circle for Sven's head, so let's go ahead and draw a circle. I'm going to draw one on my sheet about the size of a grapefruit. I'm drawing it lightly so that I can go in and adjust where all the lines go. Animator drawings are typically pretty sketchy, pretty rough and scratchy because they're finding the drawing as they go. So it's not, I'm not tracing Sven, there's no Sven underneath here, so we got to figure out what Sven looks like in the drawing. So let's go ahead and make Sven, he'll be looking on to the left on our drawing, so I'm going to give him that line in the center of his head, that gives a tilt to his head. And then we're going to go about halfway up, there. So we can give him that sort of head tilt here, so instead of being straight up and down, he's sort of tilted this way. And now let's go ahead and do the nose. So he's got a big nose. I'm going to just draw a big circle out here on the left side of his face. And it's important for Sven to see the head, the nose stick out past the head, because that gives him some depth. Sometimes if he's just straight on, it doesn't quite look like Sven. And so we're going to try to fix that with making sure that it's sticking out to the side. So now I'm going to draw some lines down here to get to where the bottom of the muzzle may be. The muzzle is that big part of the face that sticks out, so we want to make sure that that looks right. And then let's go ahead and just start drawing the cheeks from here, kind of a rounded line, and then they just swoop into the bottom where the jaw is. So yeah, already we have a pretty good shape of what Sven's head might look like. Now, an important shape for Sven, though, is his top lip. It's a big thing for him, is making his top lip stick out past the rest of his muzzle. It's an important character-defining feature for his face, so we're going to do that first, make sure that we get it in. And then I like adding some corners in here just to give him some strength. Bring the mouth corner up here. Tuck that in. And now let's do the bottom lip. So the bottom lip is a little shorter, right? So the top lip sticks out, bottom lip is a little further into the right. And then finish off the jaw. So this part up here is really round, but I like introducing a little corner here, right, on that part of the jaw. So it's not totally round, it's got a little bit of an edge. He's a big guy, he's a strong reindeer, so we want to make sure that we give him some strength. And the jaw is a great place to do that. Cool, so let's give him a little bump on his nose here, because it sticks out pretty far. So while we're on the nose, let's go ahead and work out the nostril. The nostril is like a bean that's rounded on one side, and then kind of bent in the other side. You see that? It's around here, curves in there. Cool. So that, so far, looks like a pretty good muzzle. Great. So let's go ahead and work on the bridge of the nose. So that will start about here, just around where the circle is, and then come up to the center line. And then the other side is going to be here. It's a pretty wide one. So this is the line that we really need, because that tells us where the other eye is going to go. So the eye starts around this section. We're going to put it, it's going to be really lightly drawn because it's behind all of this, right about there. And the eyebrow, I'm just going to lightly draw it here so we can get a sense of where it might be. It's in this area. That looks right. So let's go ahead and draw Sven's eyebrows real big so that we know where we're going with it. He's got these great, big, thick, expressive eyebrows that love animating. A lot of the times when we animate Sven, because he doesn't speak, most of the animation and expression comes in through the eyes. And one of the fun things on Frozen 2 is, if you haven't seen it yet, you should turn the sound down, but there's a moment where Sven gets to speak in Kristoff's fantasy world, and that was a lot of fun to animate, making this mouth make human talking shapes. That was a fun challenge. Let's go ahead and do this half-lidded eyeball, and that way he can have that attitude. Cool. So let's just close this off. Now he's got a big poofy cheek, so we're going to give him a cheek here, a couple lines. Okay, so we'll just finish off this eye. He's looking at us. Great. Let's go ahead and work on the other eye. This eyebrow is just as big, same kind of shape. And this area here is, we call that the eye mask, and since his brows are so expressive, so is this area. So as he smiles, it kind of compresses. If he goes really wide with his eyebrows like he's shocked, then maybe this area gets bigger. But it's important for us to maintain some graphic shapes here, so this is a big shape for us too. Let's go ahead and do the other eye. It sits right on top of that center line that we already built. Cool. So let's do the ear now. So the ear on this side is like a, think of it like a letter D. That, and then from this point do kind of an S curve shape to get us to the top of the ear. Cool. We're going to do the same on the other side here. So that you can imagine this goes all the way back and connects back to the head, but since it's behind all this, we're not going to see it, so it just hides behind there. And let's give him some hair here. He's a big guy, so big hairs, long lines. And while we're doing hair, we can go do the hair on top of his head. He's got these hairs like that, like making one point out the other direction. And we'll just sort of indicate where the neck is in this drawing. So just do these really light curved lines coming out of the chin and then around where the ear connects to the head. And then also in the back, kind of using the same line, bring it down here. So that gives us a good shape. We're going to give him a little bit more hairs here. Just indicate it. It's also got these little chin hairs too, so I like drawing those. Make sure you get those in. And then I'm going to shade in the nostril just so we can see him for who he is. While we're on the nostrils, we don't really see much of it because we're in a 3/4 view, so it's not a full straight view, it's not a full profile view. It's 3/4, so we see a little bit of the other side of the face. So because of that, we might see a little bit of the nostril come in, so I'm just going to have it sort of peek in there. And then now, let's do the antlers, because Sven is not complete without his antlers. So those, it's got 2 antlers. They kind of swoop out from the top of the head. These are fun shapes, so you can have fun with them. Make them your own. They're definitely going to go off the top of the page, and that's fine. So we're just going to sort of slowly let them drift up there. And let's do the other side, coming out of this area. So I'm just going to start with this side over here. And then this comes forward. He's got these little little baby antlers that come out first to the front. So this we would call the underdrawing. If you'd like, we can also make some darker lines to help finish off the drawing, make it look complete. So I'm going to go in with a black pencil and start shading in areas that I think would help indicate the final Sven. So what's nice about this too is that all these scratchy lines don't really show up once you start doing these darker black lines. So let's go ahead and get the lip in first. So I am right-handed, so I like working from the left side of the drawing so that I'm not smudging it too much. So I want to make sure that while I'm doing these lines, I'm maintaining some of the corners that I kept from before, here and here, here and there. Sometimes when you're cleaning up a drawing, you can lose the power that you had in the sketch, and so you want to make sure that you do what you can to keep the same kind of energy, maybe even faster lines, because the faster lines can give you a little bit more of a bold look. So it's still scratchy. I'm not trying to do a very clean, solid line, but this just helps give me some sense of intending to look at this line and not these little lines that are inside. Sven was so much fun to animate. He's got a lot of entertainment that happens in the film, that even in shots where he's not the focus, he's doing a lot of really fun things. I'm thinking of some shots in the scene where Kristoff is thinking he's about to propose to Anna, but it ends up being Yelena. And as he's starting his proposal, you can see that the animator who animated that chose to have Sven kind of mimic the words that Kristoff is saying. And that's not a thing that is front and center. It's happening kind of in the background, but animators love using Sven to make some really fun, unique choices. So next time you watch these films, go ahead and take a look at Sven. He's doing some fun things. Let's do the top ear. And long lines. And since this line is actually a little farther away, the ear is farther back, I actually did this a little lighter so that it sticks, it's not as close to camera. So it doesn't really draw your eye. And then next to this big, bold eyebrow, so that'll really look like it's closer, and then the ear will feel like it's farther away. Let's do the other eyebrow. This is all fur, right? So you can get really scratchy with it. Sven is really forgiving to draw because he's got a lot of furry areas that help the artist's choices be whatever they want to be. You don't need to be so specific with it. Cool. Let's get these hairs. The ear. This one I'm going to make a little darker than the ear that's on the left side because it's closer to us. Get these lines going. And the neck. Lastly, I want to make sure that we get the antlers, so let's go ahead and just start here. I think with that, we did it. So don't forget, the last thing you want to do is sign your drawing with your name. My name will go right here.
Well, I hope you had a good time drawing, Sven. Keep practicing, keep drawing, and then we'll see you next time. Bye now.